Fingers crossed. It says we're live. Oh my goodness. This has been such a long time coming. It really is like I could have tears just thinking about this moment as I was replaying earlier of, just us meeting and all the different things and how I've always wanted to introduce you to my people and all of the things. And so today is that first of many, I hope, Noel. But for the
Yeah.
you that are watching this, because we're live streaming into the Be Extraordinary Women's Network, I really want to take the time to introduce you to my dear friend Noelle. Now she's in Los Angeles. She also has homes in other places that we will talk about, but she lives this life that really at times can feel very magical and at times can feel very heartbreaking. And I think we're going to go down a bit of a journey today because I think that a lot of the women here can relate to what does it look from the outside and then what does it look like from the inside. And we're also here bringing that hope and possibility to others so that they can not only see themselves in your story, but recognize that in the mess of all that was a decision and was those pivotal moments that not only did you take charge of your life, but now I'm looking at it and you just have created the most magical life. And I think that that is something that we all can look forward to. So, Noelle, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Debbie, for having me on this podcast. I'm so excited to be here. We have been together in the Edge in this incredible mastermind for years now. And I saw you present there. You're amazing. So it's an honor to be here. So for me, it was always, if I think about it, I'm not going to start when I was born, right? But I could never see clearly past 50. Like I have always been optimistic. I went through a lot of hard stuff in my life, like historical events where I was in the middle of it. And I'm like, why? I'm just a girl from Uruguay. I'm not supposed to be there when the Twin Towers fall in front of my eyes. I'm not supposed to grow up in a dictatorship where I learned to be invisible. That's what everybody taught me, and then not be able to speak up. I'm not supposed to be one of the people losing my home in the Palisades fires in LA. Like, I'm a girl from Uruguay. Why, right? But when I look back, 50 was a date, right? My mom passed away when she was 54, a week after my second daughter was born. She was my best friend. She was my North Star. She was everything to me. She was an incredible woman. And without knowing, when you look at your parents, and especially if you're a woman, your mom or your grandma, sometimes if she raised you, it's like the roadmap, right? You see the things your parents did. I had my daughters kind of at the same time she did, like same age and all of that. But then at 50, she got sick. At 54, she died. And as I approached 50, I was an art therapist. I was a therapist. I had my clients. I had my beautiful daughters, my husband. I have been married 33 years now and almost 34, and we still love each other. But it was like 50 was a dark thing. It's like after that, it's not that I was a little bit afraid that something bad would happen, but also I couldn't see past it. So as I approached 50, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? My daughters that are the love of my life, we are super close. They went to college. They went to college before when I was in my 40s, right? But they were definitely moving away from home, like same city, but away from home. And all of a sudden, I felt I was being left behind. And I don't know if you felt that, Debbie, or if you're listening to this, like this feeling of there is this age where your looks start going a little bit. So if you're used to getting attention on the streets or people helping you or guys helping you, it's that starts stopping. And then you feel like, wow, my daughters that really needed me don't need me anymore. So there is a hit in significance in all of these areas of your life. I was feeling like I didn't matter. I was feeling isolated. I was feeling lonely. And my spiritual teacher told me, on February 17th or 21st, I think, right before COVID. You have to go here. She gave me a link, and that's how I met Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. So I was telling my spiritual teacher, I don't know what's next. I don't want to do one-on-one therapy right now. I don't want to be a therapist. I want to be able to give advice, to share my life with others. As a therapist, you have to be, everything has to be concealed, right? You have to be the blank canvas where your patients project their lives onto. So I sit there, and Dean Graziosi and Tony, they say something amazing. When you go into mastermind and when you can create a business from scratch where your gift is what you're giving to the world, you don't need to learn anything else. All of a sudden, being older, it's a great advantage. So I said, this is for me. I'm going to start coaching. I'm going to create programs. I'm going to have a community. I was feeling so lonely, Debbie, so lonely and isolated. It was COVID hit. We were all like inside, indoors. So I started creating. I used my COVID time so well. I reinvented myself. I came up with a business. I pre-recorded my courses. It was all about the empty nest because I thought, what am I good at? I'm a really good therapist. I'm a good psychologist. But if I had to pick a niche, and I said, okay, what I can do is talk about empty nest because I'm doing it very well. I'm close to my daughters. So I start with that. But a year and a half into it, I was miserable. I had pre-recorded courses. I had spent so much money or invested so much money into doing this thing. I'm such a good student. I'm a dictatorship baby, so I know how to obey rules and be people pleasing and all of that. So everything Dean said, I did. And what happened is that, yes, I was able to create something. Yes, I was able to sell it, but it wasn't magical because it wasn't me. And I'm always after joy. Joy is important to me and wasn't bringing me joy. So I found myself ready to give up. And I have given up so many times. Like I had projects that I gave up. And I never gave up on my family or my marriage, but the rest, or friendships, but the rest I gave up a lot of. I'm multi-talented, I think. So I start something and then if it doesn't go well, I quit. And I was like, no, I cannot quit this time. So I said, what's happening here? What's missing? So I decided to do art therapy on myself. I said, you know what? I sat in my garden. I grabbed my pencils, my things. I grabbed my printer and I started creating a collage. And I said, I have to see what's my vision. Why am I not loving this? I create a vision board like I did for my clients. And what I realized is that in my new business that I created to be happy, to be connected, to be a part of something bigger than myself, I created something that was isolating me. And what the images told me is that what I craved the most, what I needed was community. What I needed was adventure. What I needed was creativity. I needed color. I needed like shine. I needed all of that. And none of that was part of my business. So instead of quitting, I said, you know what? I picked up my phone. I called my friends from church and I said, girls, do you mind coming to my garden this Saturday just for a couple of hours? I'm trying something new. We're going to be doing art. 7 of them said yes. They show up for 2 hours. They stay until night. We even cooked dinner together. We sat there. These women started creating their own art and they started visualizing things. A week later, one woman that is a dear friend of mine who had never been outside of America, she went on a cruise. The cruise was on her vision board. A month later, she is on that cruise sending me pictures. The opportunity came a week later. Another one. So all of this starts happening. And then I'm an accountability call with my ladies from Mastermind. And they say, I want that. I say, yes, but you're far. So one flew from Hawaii, the other one from New Jersey, the other one from North Carolina. They all came a couple of weeks later. They're sitting in my garden and they're doing art. The word spread and everyone started wanting to come. And they started coming and I realized by October of 2024, I cannot have all these people. I love to enjoy. I want to have fun on weekends. Like, it's not that this is not fun, but on Saturdays, I want to hike. I want to go to the beach. I want to mountain bike. I want to go with my girls, play tennis with my husband. And every Saturday was taken now.
Right.
And a lot of people wanted to come and they didn't have the means to come because they live in Europe or different places. And I told my team, why don't we create a virtual garden
Yeah.
based on my Malibu garden, which is beautiful. And let's create a membership or something, a club where everybody can come for a lot less money.
Yeah.
So we started working on it. And I create a membership called the Magic Garden Circle. And we are ready to launch on January the 10th. And on the 7th, Debbie, as you know, my house and my garden and everything I had burned to the ground with the Palisades fire. Sorry for crying. I'm rebuilding. I'm going through the stress right now of fighting with permits and insurance and all of that. And I was ready to give up again. I called my team and I said, I cannot launch. I will ugly cry like now. I'm a little bit vain. I don't like to ugly cry, but that's the way I cry. So I said, I cannot do this. I'm heartbroken. I can't. My team, who's amazing, they stopped my funnels that had been running for a whole month already. It was so difficult to stop. And I said, I can't do this. And then something magical happened, Debbie. And it's my audience, the ones I thought I was creating videos every day and I didn't have that much response. And I said, what am I doing this? No one is listening. And then one by one, hundreds of people offering me their help. A coach offered me 10% of her salary as a coach for the next 3 months. I was so moved, Debbie, that I said, this time around, I'm not going to do it for me, I'm going to do it for them. They said, we miss you, we need you, you have so much to give, and we're here for you. So a week after losing everything, I launched my membership, which was the biggest launch of my life. And when I look back, Debbie, the reason why I have been able to continue is that I love what I do. That I started when I didn't know what was next. I started with a huge question mark. I joined the right rooms. I befriended the right people. I surrounded myself with a community of men and women who wanted more, who were ready to have dreams. I just came back from Punta Cana, where I got paid to teach and to do this experience. I became a speaker after the fires,
Yeah.
a big speaker. I have been on TV, I have been on huge stages. They fly me to places, to like super luxurious hotels. They pay my flight, they pay my fee. I go there, I provide experiences for women. Punta Cana was incredible. I don't know if you saw my footage. If you're looking at this and you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Noel Rippe, it's my name, Noel Rippe. You will see the experience was incredible. I do it in Spanish and in English. I'm bilingual. This time around was in Spanish. But when I was standing on that stage, Debbie, a couple of days ago, it was on last Thursday, exactly a week ago, I'm there looking beautiful. I put myself together nicely. My presentation, I have an incredible team. My branding is gorgeous right behind me. And I start talking, and these women lean forward. It was a three and a half hour experience where we created art to upgrade their identity so they can scale their business. This was a group of realtors, like super high-end realtors from Latin America and Hispanic speaking America. I'm there and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, Noel, you made it. And it's just, all it took was an itch. I'm being left behind. I'm sad. I don't like this version of myself. I don't want 50 to be the time of your life when I go down the hill. I just want more of this. I want to inspire others. I want to be a part of the group of people who are making a difference in the world. And step by step, I kept on going. Every time I wanted to quit, I had a group of people around me who sustained me. I think you have your own community, and this is why this podcast, these communities are for. So you never get left behind. When I was about to quit, instead of being sneaky and saying I'm sick and quitting, I said, no, I want to quit. I want to quit. I'm not traveling. I'm not this. I'm hiding in my bathroom because I don't know how to move forward.
Mhm.
I'm afraid. I'm embarrassed. I should be, all this shoulds. There's something with age. I'm too old. No one will care. No one is listening. No one. It's not true. In Punta Cana, before that, 2 months before, I was in Puerto Rico. Before that, I was in Uruguay in a huge one. I have been in circle of women, running circles of women in Malibu, here close to me. And there's so many women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s that they're trying to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
And it is so possible. It just takes taking a step every day, not hiding, and having a group of people who sustain you and bring you up. And the last thing that I feel, Debbie, is that we are too keen on grabbing knowledge from the outside
Ooh.
and too much. People are too confused. I see it everywhere in all the groups I go. Do I do this? Do I do that? And people get busy with so many things. The more you do, the more far away you will be from who you are inside. The first job when you want to start something new is to clear everything. You are a rock right now. You're a rock, you're sustaining your family, you're sustaining a business, you're sustaining so much, a community. But inside that rock, if you take the time to do the work, you will find a gem. You're the most shining, beautiful, gorgeous, unique, incredible gem. And when you find that gem and you start shining bright, everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants you on their stage. Everybody wants you in their podcast. Everybody wants you in their life. And not only business-wise, family-wise, friends.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, my daughters are 33 and 31. I adore them. They are friends. I'm close to their friends. And they say, Noel, how old are you? I'm 58. It's like, I want to be 58 so I can be like you. You know what that is. And I'm not saying this in an arrogant way. It's like we have the responsibility to show the younger generations that you could look up to aging gracefully, to youthing, my friend Lavinia Rico says, to getting better and better until it's time to go
Yeah.
to the afterlife, right? But being like really focusing on who you are inside and giving yourself the time to not get too busy. When you get too busy and you get too much information, you lose yourself. That's what I did. I got lost in the Ingres Yossis framework. Did he want me to get lost in it? No. Did he say you have to stop being yourself and be my replica? No. But we do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We follow a framework and then we get lost in it.
Yeah. Okay. I love this. So I wanted to let you just keep talking because I think that this was such a beautiful chunk of 15 minutes of gold. And you really took us through that journey quickly. Like good for you that you could take us through all of that and still have us come out the other side going, I want more. And now I'm going to go into the I want more because I want to go back to that time where you were becoming an empty nester and you did feel lost because I think that a lot of people can relate to that pivotal time in their life where they're rediscovering who they are. Now, we just heard your story and you actually did rediscover who you were and what brought you joy. But at that moment, what was going through your mind of trying to figure it out? Because I always believe that there's our logical brain trying to figure it out, and then there's our true essence that already knows the answer. So take us through that journey of trying to figure out what would bring you joy again.
Yeah, I think for me, I was looking for the joy outside and I was seeing who can I model after? Who has a life that I would love? And for me, my life, I loved my life, but it was the business part and the being someone beyond my family I had a hard time with.
Yeah.
So
So was that I love my life, but I know there's a business life that I could be. And so you had to start modeling the business because you already had the beautiful wife, the beautiful family life, but there was something missing, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah. There was
Okay.
something big missing because when you are great at being a part of the family and when you get lost in being a mom and being a wife and being all of that, even though I had a career all along, it
Yeah.
wasn't my priority. So what I wanted more than a business was it had to be a business to be sustainable. So I could do it. But I wasn't so much looking at the business. I was looking for purpose. I
Mhm.
was really looking for purpose. And I remember during COVID, we would sit in front of the fireplace to just to meditate in the mornings with my husband, my daughters. One was living in Miami, working for Amazon Studios. She came back home. She lived with us. So all of a sudden, the four of us are living together again, and we do this meditation every morning, and with Deepak Chopra. And one day I'm meditating, and I'm feeling really lost, like really, really lost, and disappointed, and not sure about where to go next. And I was thinking I'm such a loser. Like I thought so many times that I had a purpose, and then I realized it wasn't my purpose. So what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And this meditation pops about purpose from Deepak Chopra. Like everything is timed, right? In life is timing. So I'm sitting there, and Deepak says the the purpose of life is being happy. And because what makes you happy changes throughout your life, you might think your purpose is changing, but it's not. That moment, Debbie, I felt that's why being a champion gymnast in my country felt like a purpose. And then being a mom felt like a purpose. And then being a therapist and taking care of families felt like a purpose. And that's why. But the thing is that as long as that's the inner part, and that's where we really need to focus is what makes me happy. Because when I was trying to model after Dean and Tony, because I didn't know how to do it, I was missing the mark because I forgot myself.
Mhm.
So I think that's the scary part of studying from other people. I think it's beautiful. It's great. I'm still with Dean and Tony. I love them. I owe them so much. But you need to know who you are first. I feel like if you're looking for your next step, first, before saying, okay, I have to learn this, and that, make sure you know who you are
Yeah.
because that makes the difference.
And I think that's what's really bonded me with you is that comment of we need to know who we are first, right? Like, how can you go out and be this success? Yes, you can be successful, but to fully have it all, how can you do that if you don't know what brings you joy, who you are on the inside? And so I really love that you use art therapy to help people rediscover who they are. One of the things that just came to me as you were speaking, and I want to go back to this just quickly because when we when we're in that place where we just want the best for our children, and if they came to us and they're like, I'm lost, I don't know who I am, and you said, hey, study Deepak Chopra, and then all of a sudden they just become a mirror of him. They were spouting every word he said, and they kind of felt lost, and they didn't. You were like, where's my little girl? I want to hear what you have to say, not what he has to say. He's amazing, but I think you're amazing. And I think that we can look at that with our children or our grandchildren and see it so simply, but it can sneak up on us where we put somebody else up on a pedestal and forget how amazing we are.
Yeah.
And I believe in divine, and I believe in God, and I believe that God looks down at us and go, but I want you to shine. I want you to show the world how amazing you are. Can I just hear what your thoughts are on that?
I think you're absolutely right. And sometimes we're looking for outside validation, right? And it's hard. I don't have grandchildren yet, but it's hard when your kids they fall in love with some type of thinking or they start following some path and all of a sudden they speak only film or they speak in coach or they speak in this language. My daughters are in that world, right? But it is challenging because I remember when I first entered The Edge, which was the name was Legacy 4 years ago. I went there and talking about joy. And I remember going there one time, two times, three times. Everybody was there for their business, and their business had something to do with what Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins were doing. And they're following all the steps. And I'm thinking, okay, these steps, they don't really apply that much to me if I have to copy this thing. And I remember sitting at the table and everybody was buying from each other because like, oh, AI. Well, it wasn't AI right back then, but funnels, this. And everybody was buying from each other. No one was getting into my groups. No one wanted what I had. And they looked at me, they liked me. And I think someone told me that at the beginning, it's like, poor Noel, good luck selling what you're trying to sell. And then at some point, I think it was the third time I was there already. In 1 year, we go 3 times. I was sitting at this table and this man, he said, Noel, I'm having a hard time. I now understand why you're smiling so much, even though you're not making millions or you're not doing this. Could I come with my wife to Los Angeles? Could you teach us how to live in joy? And I said, of course you can. Let me know. He didn't. And he split up horribly from the family. Like it's really bad what happened. And I felt at that point so sorry for this person who's amazing, incredible person. But I felt, wow, that was the person who was doing the best in the whole room, was making the millions, super beautiful heart, like the goal was so good. But in the way, he lost himself. And that's when I thought I needed to resist, because in that first year, I could have become someone else to try to fit the room, but I didn't.
Ooh.
And then slowly, that room started changing. People left, people came. I think I was the first or second one to enter that. I'm still there. And people are coming to my membership, and people are doing one-on-ones with me, and people are coming to my immersive experiences.
Yeah.
But I had to really resist the urge. So many times I felt like, I look like an idiot here. I'm the one, yeah, it's joy, it's this. And people thought, oh, that's not very deep. Sometimes people mistake lightness for lack of depth.
Thank you.
And I feel lightness is wisdom. It
Mhm.
is profound wisdom. You get to be light when you lived through the unimaginable and you tapped into your heart and you realize what's important and what's not. That's why you can be light energy around people. You can lift them up, not because you don't know how hard life is, but because you went through it and you came out the other side knowing what's important.
Yeah. And I honor that journey so much because I feel it too. There's been times where I've felt like everybody's having the success and they're just telling us take these 3 steps and you'll have the success too. And I'm like, but it doesn't feel right to me. There's
Exactly.
peace in that. And really to believe in that wisdom that comes from within you, right? I believe that the way you do art therapy is unique to you because it came from a divine assignment that you have. And you believe in it so much and you kept believing it that the compound people started to see that depth. Not only did you speak it, but you embodied it. And when you embodied it, there's another level of trust that people are like, I want what she's having. How do I find that? Instead of saying, I want the 3 steps that the millionaire has, I actually want the recipe Noel has. And so thank you for staying the course because you have not only really shaped the culture within our community, that there is a new depth of that lightness instead of just the skills that we can all learn. So being who you are has definitely helped the rest of the community. I want to talk a little bit about your art therapy because you were actually trained as a professional and you probably followed all the rules of how professionals do certain things, but you also could see that there was a missing piece. And so, can you take us down that journey of recognizing that there was maybe something missing in the way you were taught and that you have now evolved it into what you're able to do with people now?
Yeah. The beauty of art therapy, as you said, is that art therapy is a science. It's a social science, but it's a science. I studied 3.5 years of neuroscience to become an art therapist. So you know exactly when you use different mediums, what type of what part of the brain you are tapping into, if people are anxious, if people are depressed, like you know what you're doing. It looks, the beauty of art therapy, it looks like a game. It looks like it's childlike. It's very innocent. And that's how I sneak into your subconscious. And that's, yeah, art therapy bypasses the cortex and you go into your limbic system where your emotions live and you tap into the subconscious mind. So, imagery, especially when you use things like collage and you use images and you start choosing them and you let the images choose you, all of a sudden you start discovering. I just finished yesterday a 4-week immersive with a group of incredible women, and we use collage very heavily. And the things these women discovered was incredible. What I see is that coaching without art therapy, you're trying to figure out what's wrong with your mind with your mind.
Mhm.
So it's with a tool that hasn't worked. And you're trying it. So your mind, your neocortex is going to give you all the excuses. We are so smart, right? We rationalize things, we model after others, we have all these beliefs that stop us from being the amazing person we are. And then with art therapy, what you do is you go deeper, you go to another part, and then all the yearning, all what's beautiful about you and has been hidden under layers and layers of excuses and beliefs and trauma, everything starts coming up beautifully. So for me, coaching without art therapy, first of all, is too dull. For me, I find it boring. I love color. I love colors. You know how I dress and everything. But within the art therapy community, when you do art therapy as a therapist, you can't give that much advice,
Right.
right? Because it's a different set of rules. And I love being a coach because then I can be more hands-on. I can teach you tools that you can take and apply to yourself. My whole thing is that I don't teach. I don't teach you. I give you, I tell a story to bring you into your emotions, into another part of your brain. I ask you to do some exercises. And in the exercises, you discover something. And I ask you the right questions so you find your right answer. It's very different than people telling you what to do. I will tell you, do this exercise, but should I do it like this or like that? I don't know. It's your life. It's not mine. It's
Yeah.
your heart. It's not mine. It's your love. It's not mine. And we are all experts in our own thing. So there is a combination between coaching and art therapy that I really love. Another thing as an art therapist that I was always very creative. My fellow art therapy students and other art therapists where I worked, when I worked in clinics and stuff, they always came to me and they said, you need to write a book about interventions. And because I don't know, I just love coming up with things. And I feel, okay, what's the result I want to have? Like now in Punta Cana, what's the result? Okay, these women want to scale their business, but they won't be able to scale it unless they scale their identity and unless they're ready to receive what you get to receive when you are at the next level. So I created a whole thing with a glass jar with pebbles. We ended up like barefoot on the beach, grabbing sand, putting it in there. It was so incredible. The women loved it. So the beautiful thing about art therapy and the way I do it is that I create it every time. If it's a group, I create what's good for the group. When I do, right now, I'm launching a new program called the Gem, where you go from rock to gem. It's a 12 session um, kind of program. It's completely curated, it's one on one. And then I will curate art interventions just for you, whatever you need, because I have that gift to be able to really, I have a way of seeing a little bit. I won't say it to you, but I have a way of seeing what you need. And then I give it to you and I see how you respond. So I think the ability to be able to curate, really curate the art intervention, the questions, the things, like nothing in my life goes by the book. And that's something I needed to own. I do not like Like I grew up in a dictatorship. I do not like, I'm not going to impose rules on myself when I lived like that from when I was born until 18. It's just the client. You are in my mind, you're in my heart, and I will take you on this journey and everything will be curated. So it's fun. I sometimes I have experiences with balloons. Sometimes we build stuff, sometimes we draw, sometimes we paint, but it all has a purpose behind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring you from here to here because
Yeah.
here is where the beauty of you lives.
So beautiful. Okay. You were taught by Dean Graziosi and probably every other coach out there that we must know our ideal client. We absolutely must know. And we come up with this silly statement at the beginning that says, I help 40-year-old women do such and such. That puts you in a box. It's like, no, it's so much more than that. So I would love to see how your ideal audience has shifted from the beginning of you trying to think about it to now these doors are opening and the ideal audience is coming to you. Help take us down that journey a bit.
Yeah, that's such a good question. And it's true when they say, what's your ideal client? I think at the beginning, when I didn't know what I was doing, that was useful.
Yeah.
But here's the beauty. You start with an ideal client, right? And you say, okay, you have to start somewhere
Yeah.
and do not get married to it because you will start evolving. I started with the empty nest because I thought that's the only thing I can talk about, like specifically. And then in creating all of that, I became this coach for so many women, because to my garden in Malibu and then a magic garden, all these women who were not mothers or had little children or who already passed the empty nest a long time ago and that wasn't an issue anymore. They started coming. I was doing everything in English. And then Veronica Figueroa, our friend from the Edge, she's a huge realtor. She says, Noel, I love what you do. We were talking and she says, I want to take you with me to Orlando. That didn't happen. And then she says, I'm putting this together. Are you okay speaking in Spanish? It's like, oh my goodness, I was born speaking Spanish. So now I am doing, when I create my presentations, I create them in English and Spanish because I'm absolutely comfortable in both languages. Now I'm talking to realtors in the Spanish speaking world and I'm speaking to women.
Yeah.
What I love, I have, when I created my membership, it was just for women. And then Imon, remember our friend Imon, a young guy, amazing. He was the first one to sign up. But I tend to have more women, and there is something about talking among women. We can speak about things that maybe we wouldn't want to speak in front of men. So I love that. But yes, it evolves. And I think it's more about what you can give them. And whoever needs what you can give them, may them come
Yeah.
and may
And
them
I
receive.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting you, but I think
No.
that's the key point here is that your vision and what you were providing them never shifted. Just who you were speaking to, English, Spanish, young, old, wives, mother, daughter, all of those things were an experience that you created. But the end result, the outcome you got them was the same. And I think that that's really important when we start to realize the gift we're here to bring the world, and you have really done that. I want to go to you presenting at the Edge at what we at the time called Implementation Day. So it was a bonus day that you came and you created this experience for your fellow peers, the Edge members. And you had men and women, young and old, successful business people just starting out. You had the gamut of people there. And I'll just share from my experience what that felt like. Now, two things. I'm extremely proud of Noelle as a fellow peer of the Edge member getting this opportunity. And I'm so excited to witness her in her zone of genius. There's nothing better than watching somebody fully step up into what they can do that's so unique no one else can do. That's why it's so important for me to get people an opportunity to share that, because you can write it, you can even do a sales script, but nothing's like experiencing you. And so from that perspective, watching the people dive in and you saying, it's not my choice what color you want. You choose. Like it was so amazing to watch you just kind of gently give them back their own power. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Should I cut it yet? Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think so. Watching this whole journey unfold and then having the aha moments, the light bulbs go off that you already knew were going to happen. I know you knew exactly what was going to happen to these
Right.
people. And so I just want to show everybody what I did first, because this is the wheel of life. And you can see that my wheel was a bit wobbly. And yet, Noel, and I'll let you explain how you took us through from having a wobbly wheel that might have judged us wrong to how do we make it exactly what you desire in life. And so can from you take us through that journey of being asked and then you got to design it and then you got to facilitate it? What did that feel like?
It felt incredible. It felt like really, and going from that room where at the beginning I was the odd one out, the one that it wasn't, poor Noel, she doesn't know what she's doing. This is not the business, to being called to be in front of everyone and people who doubted me. And they're good friends and like beautiful people, but they were like, what does Noel do? Watching them all playful out. And from that day, something happened that was huge. And I want to say, we started doing the Wheel of Life. I always talk about life is not just work or life. Like there is all these pieces to life. You have your spirituality, you have your family, you have your romantic partner, you have your health, you have your wealth, you have all of these things. And at any given time, wherever you put more energy in one place, usually what happens is that when something is going well, if you're romance, when you've just fallen in love and romance goes beautifully and you have butterflies all the time, all of a sudden you don't call your friends. Your job, you start doing it kind of, right? Maybe you went to the gym every day and now you're sleeping until late, like tangled with your loved one, right? So the more one area of your life goes really well, the more that area grows and everything else gets unattended. So you get to a point where you wake up after the love induced whatever dream you were on, and all of a sudden you call your friends and they're mad at you. Your job, your money in the bank is not that great. Your health, you start having a muffin top, right? So this is a funny way of saying it, but so when you build a wheel of life and you see it, actually something happens to your brain. You talk about it, then you draw it, then you cut it. So you start involving different senses, and also the fact that it's kinesthetic. So all of a sudden, whatever the reality of your life right now, it gets into every part of your brain. It's your brain, the different layers, different hemispheres, your spinal cord, everything, your muscle memory. And all of a sudden, you understand what's going on. One of the ladies who was there at that time, I'm not going to say the name, but it's something beautiful happened. She realized that she's a badass businesswoman, doing amazing, incredible. And she realized, and she told me with tears in her eyes, her fun and recreation was so low, so low. And it made her so sad. And she came to me and she started crying. And I said, we had a conversation. That woman joined my Magic Garden Circle. And now, in a few months after realizing that was missing, she taught herself how to sail. She used ChatGPT. One of the things I say is use your strengths to help with your weaknesses. She was good with AI. ChatGPT taught her how to sail. She entered a crew of people. She loves her long nails. And when she was crew, she couldn't have long nails. So a year and a half after, she's getting her or just got her captain degree or whatever, so she can have long nails. She's racing with a group of women. She's having the time of her life and she's missing her husband. She doesn't want to leave her husband behind. So she convinced him he doesn't want to sail, but he's one on the boats, the motorboats, and like supporting the women who are in these races and doing the whatever, security, safety things from the Wheel of Life. And she told me, Noel, if I hadn't done that, I would have never discovered. I thought I needed to work, work, work. what happened to her when she talks, like, it's like she's like champagne. It's like she looks 10 years younger. She is so happy. At the same time, I had another man there who came to me, like a big guy, super rich, super successful, and his lip is when you are, it's wobbly, like you're about to cry. And this is like a macho man, right? But beautiful, nice, like super kind man. And he says he couldn't even speak, and he says, "My wheel of life is so small. It is." It is even, but it is so small. I realize I have been playing so small. I can tell you, I think that day we had 32, 35 people, all of them, something like really deep shifted in their lives, and their lives is better because they did this. And for me, it was using something I heard from Tony Robbins. It's not his idea, somebody else's, mixing it with art therapy, mixing it with making it fun and making it into an activity. Every time if I speak like this, no, but I always create experiences. I had my shortest one was 20-minute activation in a beautiful, super high-end retreat in Malibu, where I had, I think, 250 women come throughout the day in increments of 20 women. And we were doing art in 20 minutes to having 4-hour experiences. So I do everything in between. Now I'm teaching at Mastermind. I have 2 more classes. They just booked me for 2 more classes. I did another one, another workshop, a long one, a 3-hour for Mastermind last month.
Yeah.
So it's like all of a sudden, something nobody thought they needed. They thought I was crazy. They thought I was delusional, and it would never work. I'm the one who's growing and growing and growing and loving it. Loving
Yeah.
it because it's me in a business.
Yeah.
Right now, Debbie, my business and I, there is no
Yeah.
distinction. I'm
Exactly.
at that age where I have time. I just want to spend my time doing something, serving others, having fun, being a part of a community, inspiring,
Yeah.
traveling, being
Yeah.
with incredible women. I have it all.
You do. And you've intentionally built your life that way because um, I witness the struggle, especially with a lot of women that I speak to here. The struggle is, oh, you have to create an evergreen so that you're not tied to the computer. You need to do the work. But then people aren't getting that customized feeling of people being in the room with them. So there's always a let's do it, let's try it, and then a gap. Oh, I'm going to teach the 5 days a week. Oh, now there's too much. Now I'm tied to the computer and I can't go off and enjoy my life, or my grandkids pop over. So every time that I always say, be careful what you wish for, because when
Yeah.
we're trying it out, we think this is the thing that will tell us we're successful or give us that fulfillment. But then as we test it out and we play with it, we realize there's something else and another opportunity when we're staying open. So I love that you have gotten all those opportunities and they continue to open, and who knows a year from now where you're going to be. But I do
Yeah.
have to put it on the record that not once did I ever think Noelle was crazy and didn't have a business. She's a
You,
genius. She's the one
you,
that's over here actually going to make a difference in how many people's lives. Because for me, there has been a story or a gap or a struggle with people that are all about money and not about fulfillment and joy. And
mm,
so I've always said my North Star was joy. As long as I followed my joy, whatever door opened was the right door. But if I started going, oh, I need to do what they do because they just made 6 figures, I get off course. And so for me, it's always come back to the true north, which is joy. And so
mm,
I understand from a lived experience of not following my joy what that can actually do. And I think probably you have seen where you have gotten off course, or you witnessed loved ones get off course and you were just, let's come back and let's refocus here a little bit.
I
So
know.
as we wind this up, I would love for you, because you do have a lot of programs, you have offers, you have all the different things, but I would like to know what's beyond the dream that is playing out right now. This dream that's like, I think I'm living in dreamland. Everything I have is possible and I'm loving it. What's the dream that's behind that dream? Do you want to share that with us or give us a glimpse into what hasn't happened yet that you would love to see happen?
Yeah. What's happening right now, it started happening, is that because of the rooms I'm in and my lifestyle, I started getting requests from celebrities in different industries, right? Here in Malibu, of course, you have certain industries, but other industries who want to be a part of my world, and my world was all groups because I really truly believe in groups. I think they're powerful. But these women who are well known, and they might be influencers or in the world of real estate or movies or whatever, they don't want to share in a group because they are afraid of people talking, even though every group is confidential and I make sure they sign papers and everything. They have been asking for a curated journey. So my dream behind the dream is this gem that I'm going to be launching very soon. I already have two women going through it, two celebrities that are loving it. And then putting them together, like really curating the room and putting these women in a retreat in my home or around my home in Italy. That is what hasn't happened. I haven't organized a retreat in Europe yet or in Italy yet. I will do some in Malibu once my house is back up and but yes, I really love experiences. I love being a part of them and I really love creating them. Right now, my daughter is getting married, my oldest, Francesca, to a great guy. They're getting married in Italy in our house and a town 10 minutes away and at home, the rehearsal dinner and everything. And we hired this wedding planner who's amazing and wants to help me with my retreat. So I'm watching her to see if that works out. This is something because there is something about powerful women who are super successful, and I watch them. They're successful on the outside, but they cannot feel it inside. And they go to the next thing and the next thing, and now more stages and more this and more money, and the private jet and more movies and more this and more that. And there is a hole inside. And so the gem is for that type of woman who has it all, that has been like they're reaching for outside for what's inside. And I know they have it.
Yeah.
And then putting them together and being able to trust other women in a beautiful place where we can tap into old traditions, women traditions, like the folklore of the southern part of Italy, the Hill of the Boot is gorgeous. All these ceremonies they did to unite women. So doing those retreats, whether they are a part of the gem or not, like that kind of retreat where you really bond. Because
Yeah.
there is something beautiful. It's sad for me, and I completely understand when you cannot trust the people around you,
Yeah.
when you cannot trust the women around you. But if you're all on the same boat and you start trusting each other, something magical can happen.
It does happen. I have curated retreats like that. Strangers coming in and being lifelong friends because there was a
Yeah.
joint. They trusted me enough to come in and then trust each
Yeah.
other. That is so beautiful and so needed right now. So when I asked you, what's the dream beyond the dream, and you shared that thing, and I was like, that's already happening, my dear. That's already in motion. That is coming, and the outside world will witness it, but it's already energetically happening very, very much. And I think that that's just so beautiful to witness. Because let's circle back to what I told you at the beginning of inside of the Be Extraordinary Women's Network, we're really bringing hope and possibility to those that maybe have lost it. Maybe they never had it. Maybe they've been part of a world where this feels foreign to them. And I would love to hear what you're saying to them women, because I believe those women are your women as well. But what
Yeah,
would you
of
say and
course.
leave them with?
that you have a gem inside. You're special. You came to this world. God, if you believe in God, I do, put you here for a reason. And playing small is not serving anybody. If you believe in God, you know God gave you a gift for you to use it, and using it is part of our responsibility, bringing it out into the world. And if you do not believe in God and you know you have ancestors, we are standing on the shoulders of so many generations of women who put up with so much crap for us to be able to stand today here and have the freedom to speak and to do. I didn't have the freedom to speak until I was 18 years old. So either way, whether you have a responsibility to God or to your ancestors or both,
Mm.
don't play small. Playing small doesn't serve anybody. The world is crazy right now. It's so scary. Whatever you believe in, wars are not good. People, innocent people are dying. There is so much going on. And I really truly believe that women, and especially women at a certain age, of a certain age, who already dealt with raising children and this and that, we are the gems the world needs to become a better place. So do not play small. Stop playing small, because this is not serving you, it's not serving your family, it's not serving your romantic partner, it's not serving your business, it's not serving your soul. You just start. It's one step at a time. Start with anything. I hear very often women saying, yeah, but I don't know what my thing is. Do you love cooking? Start cooking, invite your neighbors, see what happens. Do you like writing? Write something, start a blog, do whatever. You need to start, and you start today. It's not on Monday, it's not next week, it's not tomorrow. You start today. And understanding, give yourself time to discover who you are.
Mm.
When you start this journey, beware of people telling you what to do. Go to people who help you figure out who you are, truly. And then once you know who you are, say, okay, I need to be able to speak in front of the camera. I go to Lori for speaking, right? And if I need AI, I go to this for AI. But you need to know who you are first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're adding stuff. And this is what I was saying in Punta Cana last week. We are so full of things we can't absorb anymore. We need to start taking away what doesn't belong anymore. This is a new chapter. There are things that served us well at another point in our life.
Yeah.
If you don't need it, drop it. Leave
Mm.
space for the new, one step at a time. Don't wait. Be yourself. The world needs you. Doesn't need another copy of Debbie or Noel or Dingraziosi or anyone.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. It reminds me of two things. Just before I jumped on with you, I was filming a part of a module for the Shine framework, which the H in Shine is healing. And it's why I've always been very attracted to what you do, because we can get really locked up in our limbic system and that fight or flight. And in order to get out of that, we need to really recognize, where does our wisdom come from? It comes right from right here. And
Yeah.
so let's do that. So that reminded me, like it felt like my conversation just continued on inside of this room with you, which is beautiful, because that's the type of people that I always make sure that I'm hanging around, as people that are an extension of the things I already teach and believe. The other thing that I want to talk about is Noelle has actually agreed to come in and be a mentor inside of the Shine, a guest mentor. And so if that is something you guys want to experience, something that she does, let us know. Again, we need to know what you want so that we can help you receive that healing,
Mhm.
to help you shine your own unique light, to make sure that you are fully understanding who you are. So, Noelle, this conversation today has been enlightening. I've learned a little bit more about your journey, and I think that's so fascinating, as we get to spend a lot of time together several times a year, and yet there's always an opportunity to go deeper. You've reminded me of your garden, not only your physical garden that was lost and is being rebuilt, but also of your magical virtual garden that you have created and have as a community. And so I'm going to come in and check out that virtual community. And I hope that someday I get to visit your real garden as well.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, Debbie, for having me.
Absolutely.
You're such a good interviewer. I didn't know that part of you.
Really? Okay, I want to make sure that I'm